It is undeniable that the stock rocket launcher is Soldier's best primary in terms of mobility and burst damage with splash rockets. But what if you were to trade that for something with more mobility and a faster time to kill? Then you would end up with the Beggar's bazooka, a primary weapon for Soldier which lets you do crazy stuff like this. The Beggar's bazooka allows you to hold 3 rockets at once before you have to unload them. If you hold more than 3 rockets, it will cause an explosion and knockback and damage you. The knockback from overloading allows us to do overload jumps. To practice by yourself, first load up the console and type in your map, with map and then PL or any other game mode you want. Once you load it into the map, you first want to type in sv_cheats1, then type in this command to stop the timer. Then you want to bind any key to your keyboard to impulse 101. What this allows you to do is get infinite ammo and infinite health each time you press it. The types of jumps you can perform with the Beggar's bazooka include the wall sync, which is when you look down at the floor and then shoot up at the wall, making you gain a bunch of speed. You could also overload one rocket and then sync up both rockets to a single wall, making you gain a lot of speed. I also suggest playing on a Jump Academy, which is a rocket jumping servers used to practice rocket jumping. They have a bunch of maps to play on to practice. A downside of the Beggar's bazooka is the random projectile deviation, which means your rockets go in random directions instead of going straight, which means you have to be up close to your enemies to kill them, which is true with any rocket launcher, but with this one, it's better off not trying to shoot your rockets from faraway distances to kill sentries or people. Another disadvantage is you cannot get ammo from dispensers while holding the Beggar's bazooka. This will put you in a dangerous situation unless you have the shotgun, or you want to gamble your life and try to melee your enemy. With secondaries, I believe that the gunboats is probably the best one to go for, since you take less damage with rocket jumping and lets you do crazy movement stuff. Another secondary you could use are the banners. The banners are good for being a supportive player, but it relies on you hitting your rockets and getting the charge up, and also your team being good at the game. Each banner has their own distinctive differences for each scenario. I don't suggest using a shotgun since you're giving up the high mobility of the Beggars just for extra damage. Another good thing about the Beggar's bazooka is the fire rate. You could load 3 rockets in once and overload and unload them at one single person before they even react. This is probably the best part of the Beggar's bazooka in my opinion. Most enemies can't react in time before you load 3 rockets in their face. Overall, I think the Beggar's bazooka is a great primary weapon for the soldier, since it allows him to do crazy movement tech and changes your perspective on how you play the class.